Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel where I'm posting free Linux tutorials, ad hoc tutorials, some with PDF notes. The number one there has creating USB with Ventoy. Number two, VBox install of Ubuntu hasn't. But I'll also be posting, I've started posting actually, I've already posted the introduction section to my Linux command line for beginners and Windows users course. This is a set of 10 videos there, actually 11 aren't they? Yeah, 11 videos, each with a set of PDF notes explaining what's going on. If you look down the bottom, I've got 4 playlists at the moment: ad hoc, introduction. I'll also be doing shell scripting and some admin. You can get automatically generated captions or subtitles if you want on these videos, and you can ask questions via my email linux@kenmard.fastmail.net. So this one we're doing now is partition with Gparted, number 3, which should be in white. So we'll stop there. I'll change that. Right, that's better. Number 3, partition with Gparted. Now, you might have Gparted installed. If you haven't, you can download it here. This is the Gparted Live ISO. If you watched my previous video, VBox install Ubuntu, or the first one actually, create USB with Ventoy, that shows you how to create a multi-ISO USB stick, which includes Gparted. And the VBox install, I touched on Gparted there. You might have Gparted installed on your machine. I'm running Mint here, so I can find it from the menu. There it is. I run it. It runs with root privileges, so I'll need my password. There we go. And this is my disk. I've got on this machine a swap partition. 5 is Mint, what I'm running now. 6 is home. If you have a separate home directory, then when you reinstall an operating system, if I reinstall Mint, I can reuse my home directory without having any of the files change. That's free, but it's only 448 meg. I'm not sure why that's there. Arch, this machine dual boots Mint and Arch, so I've got Arch installed there, and this is unused. If I want to install another operating system, I'll fit one on there. Now obviously I'm not going to mess about with this. What I'm going to use is, in the VBox install Ubuntu, I installed Ubuntu into VirtualBox. Now if you followed that tutorial, you will have Ubuntu installed. And here's my Ubuntu up and running. I saved it when I exited, so it restarts as it was. I also put a shortcut on the desktop. That's all in the other tutorial. Now, if I save it again and open VirtualBox, few seconds, they're Microsoft seconds. Okay, there's Ubuntu now. Now what I want to do is load an ISO of Gparted and partition the disk on Ubuntu. Now the way we did that in the last tutorial was go to storage, look at the empty disk, drop this down, drop this down. You can't drop this down. The reason you can't drop it down is because this is in a saved state. It's not shut down. It needs to be shut down for you to change the storage and a few other things. So I could start it up again and shut it down, but another way is right click on it and discard the saved state. If I don't want it, I can discard it. Also remember I took a snapshot of Ubuntu here, so if I make a complete hash of things I can always go back to where I was. Now it's powered off, go to storage, click on empty, click on the disk, and if it doesn't come up in the list, although it has there Gparted, you can go and choose a disk file. So mine are in KDM, Home, ISO, or you could use the one from the Ventoy drive that we created. So there's Gparted Live there, rename so it comes last in the list along with the Grub2 disk, and open that, and OK. Just make sure that it appears here before you start things up. And if it gives you a choice of a hard drive or the USB, I think it only does that the first time, choose the, not USB, the ISO. Choose the ISO, start it up. I close these little windows about the mouse. You can also close or shrink VirtualBox while this is running. This won't take a minute and it will give me several options. I want it in English and I want the GUI screen, so I just take the default. So I'm not going to mess about with the key maps. I want English, which is 33. I want the Start X, so I've got the GUI screen. And there's my disk. So when we installed Ubuntu, we created a swap partition. We created a partition of about 12 gig for Ubuntu, and we put Ubuntu's home directory in its own partition. Now if I want to install Mint next to this, I'm going to install my Arch here as well. What I can do is create a new partition, shrink it from there. I'm going to get this right in a minute. Shrink it from there and stop at about, I'm going to put 12 gig. It's a primary partition and click add. Now I might have another partition. On this partition I'm going to put Arch. So again I thought I'd have 12, about half of what's left. The other half I'll probably use for data. And there I could allocate. Now you can't have more than 4 primary partitions, so you can't do it like this. What I should have done was added to this extended partition. See, the free space here is not within the extended partition. So 1, 2, 3, 4 partitions. These ones don't count in that count. So what I'm going to do is undo what I've done. I could delete them, but it's easier to clear all operations back where we were. Now I want that unallocated space in there. So what I do is I'm going to resize the extended partition so that it takes all the rest of the space. Now the unallocated space is all within the extended partition. So I go back, new, this time it's a logical partition. Within that extended partition you have 16 logical partitions, I think, but only 4 primary. So back to 12 gig there. I'll give this a label. This is where I'm going to put Mint. And now I'm going to add another one, new partition. I'll make that 12 as well, near enough. This can be Arch. And I'll also add a data partition. If I put data in there, let's make it half of what's there. That leaves me a bit of free space if I want to add something else. Now if I put data in there, I can share it between Arch and Mint. Now I could format these, I can right click on there. I could have done it there and then when I was creating it. No, that's not true actually, you do it afterwards. So that one's going to be formatted. These two, I could format them, it doesn't matter really, because they'll be formatted when I install Mint and Arch on them. But if I did want to format them, it's not going to take a minute. ext4 is what I'm using. I mean, your options there are BTRFS, which I haven't used, which is new new partition type, ext2 and 3, which are older than ext4. You can even have NTFS if you want to share it with Windows. So I'm going to use ext4. Now I can apply all those operations or undo them, undo the last one, undo them all, or apply them all. Click on apply. Are you sure you want to do this? So you have a think about it, because you can't undo these things, but you can in VirtualBox. You can't if you're using a laptop or a PC. So apply those. Like I said, just take a minute. It's just partitioning the disk. I'm formatting those, and now I've got, there we go. So I've now got a swap, which can be shared between can't see the labels, can you? Never mind. Between Mint, which will be on 7, and Arch, which will be on 8. That's the thing to remember. That's what I make a note of. A mental note, or I write it down. It's fairly easy on here because 5 is Ubuntu, 6 is the home directory for Ubuntu, 7 will be Mint, and 8 will be Arch. 9 will be data. Now, I finish there, so we can shut the machine down. Open VirtualBox. Take the ISO out. Make sure it's out and reboot. Let's see what we've got. I'll pause for a minute because that takes a while. There we are. Log back in. I'm not a great fan of Ubuntu, so I'm not going to customize it. I'm not going to do anything to it. I much prefer Mint, which is based on Ubuntu, and I like the Cinnamon desktop, which I'm using here. I'll show you how to install Mint and configure the Cinnamon desktop in my next video. So if I open one thing I don't like is when you open the terminal, it doesn't open in your home directory, it opens in the desktop. I don't want to be there. Now Ubuntu can only see 5 and 6 there, but if we run, actually I don't know if it's got Gparted installed. No. What we could do is, if we use sudo, we can use fdisk -L to look at our disk map. There we go. So we've got SDA1, which is swap. We've got extended. We've got 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I'm going to leave that like that, but I'm going to power off Ubuntu because in my next video I'm going to install and configure Mint using that. So I'll see you there, hopefully, for the next video. Do remember though, you can take my complete introductory course. Oops. I've already posted the introduction. I'll be posting Accessing the System Section 1 soon. I'll probably post the others once a week, which gives you a week to work on them. This is a complete Linux command line for beginners and Windows users course, based on courses that I've run in the classroom. So that's the end of this video. It's the shortest one I've done. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.